Hello everyone, welcome to Forgotten Fragments. This is a small podcast of mine. My name is Abhyuday and I am your host. So the first ever playlist of in this podcast will be the very educational and historical history of Europe. It's actually a very historical podcast. If you did not figure that out from the title, well, now you do. And note that I will only cover up to before the Industrial Revolution, which was before 1750, and World Wars and all other major wars will not be included. Maybe we'll do that in another playlist, but this time we will not be knowing the World Wars. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin the first ever episode of Enchanted Europe. So actually, I don't know why I added the cheer sound effect. Just looks weird. It sounds weird because in this podcast we'll be deviating into some very depressing topics, some very bloody topics that we will have to discuss. It is my job and a very fun job actually, I must say. It's my job to discuss this with all of you. So it's not going to be very fun. Like it's going to be some part is going to be very bloody. Some part is going to be actually very frustrating. As the history of Europe is lies tangled with the mess of time. But let's begin. So, like, if I have to represent Europe with one word, my word's going to be Christianity. Yeah, the world's most popular religion with over 1 billion believers would represent Europe in my word. But fun and maybe not so fun fact, Christianity was not tolerated in Europe for a long time. Most of Europe, for a long time, like about 3 centuries. So, from Jerusalem and the Middle East, Christianity spread to the Roman Empire, but of course, the emperor is going to have problems. Why is the emperor going to have problems? Because people are worshipping a guy named Christ instead of the emperor. Yeah, I know the emperors are very self-centered. That guy's very self-centered. But of course, there's also another very more valid problem is that like Christians put their religion, put their own folks as more important than the state. That's kind of crazy. Like they will sacrifice their life for the state. They will not. That's the point. They will not sacrifice their life for the state, but they'll sacrifice their life for the church, for their fellow Christians. That's weird, because the state is what is upbringing you. This motherland gave you birth, but you will sacrifice it for some guy named Jesus Christ. So, and so Tactitius is just like, you're Christian, you're very dead, man. That's what happened. So for the first, that happened in the first century, and for the next 300 years, Christ and his followers were put on crosses. If you don't know what a cross is, it's an ancient Roman way of execution. They would nail your hands to a plus-shaped pole, and they will leave you to rot. You'll die eventually. Christ was killed like that. And just debunking a myth over here, people think that Christians think that Christ did exist, and anti-Christians, like non-Christians, think Christ did not exist. But the myth is Christ didn't exist because he did exist. We can say that he did exist. He did spread Christianity, and he was killed by the Romans. But his deeds, like getting bread out of thin air or curing the sick with just a touch, that's debatable. That's something is true, something is not true. But in the sign of history, we're gonna think. Let's think like this. So for a long time, like being Christian was literally that. Being Christian was that. But then the Romans got a very nice emperor. The name must be familiar to some of you. Constantine the Great. He claimed that he saw a cross and the words in Latin "in hoc signo vinces," which in Latin means "in the sign conquer." And then he, like any normal Roman general or emperor for that point, completely annihilated his enemy at the Battle of Milvian Bridge, AD 1312. Like after this victory, he claimed that Christ was the reason for all of his victories. Wow, it's weird, weird. So that's why I'm bringing to myself, to my opinion, a very historical based opinion. So if you don't want to listen, just skip a little bit ahead. But I have to say this. Constantine, in my opinion, was a hallucinating maniac. Like, imagine if he followed his ancestors. Christianity was restricted in the Middle East, in some part of Europe where it was already accepted. That we would have so many crises saved. Like the Crusades, which killed more than a million men. We'll get to that later on in the series, but it killed over a million men. Like, what? All due to the clash of religions and then the forceful conversions. The wars fought in the name of God, or the many people killed because they refused to change their religion. If Christianity was restricted to where it was, if Islam was also restricted, how many more people would have been alive? How many more faiths would have been alive? Like, for example, I'm Indian and I come from the state of Jharkhand. We have a massive tribal population. I'm not tribal. I'm just telling you guys this much. I'm not tribal. But Jharkhand has a huge tribal population. And Christianity wiped out so many of the tribal faiths, so many of our core beliefs, core faiths that we once had. Now it's no more. Why? Because the Christians and the Islamic people, they're like, only Christians and only Islamic people can exist. That's not how the world works. It's not how the world should work. But there was no one to tell them that at the time. So now let's continue. Back to history. So historians actually debate a lot on how Constantine the Great was introduced to Christianity. Well, now many siding that he was exposed to Christianity by his mother, Helena. So in 1813, just 1 year after the Battle of Milvian Bridge, he signed the Edict of Milan, which legalized Christianity. And then he began funding mass Christian projects. And yeah, now we wonder why no one still believes in the pagan religions, on the pagan gods, or in Zeus, Poseidon, or any Roman gods. It's all thanks to this madman named Constantine. He started printing Bibles, spreading the word of Christ, blah blah blah, normal believer stuff. Then the church, which formally established all the way back in AD 64, now had bishops who are people who control cathedrals, who control all the Christian population in one city. Like, they actually had judicial power. They could actually do things with the law. And now believers made their mission to convert non-Christians. Exactly the problem. Christians and Islamics they are the only two religions which think that they are the best. Like not to our modern viewers, to the old ones. Like, what? That's just so self-centered. It's more self-centered than the Romans. We'll get to Islam later on in the series, but they started converting non-Christians, starting with the Greeks, mostly slaves. And now the capital of Constantine, which he built, it was named Constantinople after him. So basically, brief overview over here. Roman Empire used to be split into East and West Roman Empire. And they used to be ruled by two emperors, but Constantine was one of the first to unite these two and create his own capital, the capital of the East and the West, Constantinople. It offered a backbone to all the Christian activities such as Council of Nicaea and all the others. Council of Nicaea was not held in Constantinople, but it received huge funding from Constantinople. So basically, the Council of Nicaea was the first ever Christian, the mass church event. It was attended by over 318 bishops. They condemned and illegalized Arianism, which these Arians believed that Jesus wasn't divine. He was the Son of God. He was there to spread the word of Christ, but he could not do any divine stuff. Like, he could not play God. And of course, everyone hated that. But to be fair, Constantinople did not just spearhead Christianity, it allowed the advancement of Western civilization, and it was considered the backbone of civilization until it was sacked, as in sieged by the Ottomans in the 15th century or the 1400s. Constantine's actions spearheaded the Christian movement into Europe and started another era in Europe's history. So this comes to the end of the podcast. Hope you found this interesting and informative. Subscribe and wait for the next one, Barbarian Invasions. So this is your host, Abhyuday Jha, signing off from Forgotten Fragments.